You brought up Pam Bondi, and Todd Blanche right now is acting in her place, and he said in numerous interviews that the whole Epstein release is done. They've released all that they can, even though we know there's millions of files that the public hasn't seen. If Democrats do take back majority, do you think that pushing for the further release of these files is something that should be front and center?
I believe that adults who victimize underage girls, right, and women should absolutely bear the legal consequences. And in America, we should not be protecting pedophiles, right? And so, yes, I do believe going back to legal accountability is core to this country. We are a nation of laws, and it is freedom and equality under those laws for all that is so important. This is going back to even on the immigration front, right? Like the importance of due process. In the Constitution, it does not say for citizens. It says all people have due process. And so when we look at how do we fix what is happening, I do believe we need to fix what is broken. And that includes holding people accountable who violate the law, like with the Epstein files. But going back to immigration, I mean, Brandon, we talked a lot about reining in ICE and holding them accountable and having people be legally held accountable for the crimes they commit, to include federal agents. We also need to actually fix the broken immigration system, right? Like the other part of this is, as America, a nation where our superpower is the strength of us being such a diverse nation that has been largely built on immigrants from all over the world who chose to pursue a better life here, right? That special power has been essential to our success for 250 years. And if we're going to continue to be successful, immigration is literally going to be a cornerstone, a fundamental part of that success. And we have not fixed a broken immigration system. We have not created pathways to citizenship for people who have been here for literally decades in some cases. There are people in our communities who've been in our communities longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon, they are just as American as we are, yet we have failed to give them a path to protection through citizenship. And that is us failing, right? The fact that we're not unwaveringly protecting dreamers, right, is so antithetical to American values that we can't allow this type of stuff, these types of policy failures to continue. And so the Epstein files is another great example of a failure in government to do its job well, which is to hold criminals accountable and make sure that they are brought to justice for the crimes they commit.
Yeah, and another core focus kind of Democrats who have been running this year, last year even, like Zohran Mamdani and Katie Wilson as well, is affordability. The affordability agenda was kind of coined. What sort of policies, positions, things do you support to work on lowering prices? Like, where would your focus be to kind of make the economy more affordable for people?
So growing up here in the Hudson Valley, I was raised by a single mom raising 3 girls working for the Postal Service, right? I am very proud to say that I am a product of the American dream. My family, my parents, they never got to go to and graduate from college. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. I was able to earn degrees from West Point and Harvard and MIT and work at the White House. And I'm 40, right? Like I'm still going. I got runway. But that was because of the economic opportunities that America presented for people for generations. And Brandon, I think right now, when we talk about the affordability crisis, there's a lot of layers to it. First and foremost, you see how prices on everything have just gone up, from groceries to prescriptions to everyday items to utility bills. And as a consequence, families like mine who before in the Hudson Valley, I mean, we weren't thriving, but like we were doing well, today couldn't survive here. And so we are failing, and it is not one single issue, it's all of the issues. And that has been a failure of government to do its damn job for years. That's not just the Trump administration. While I will tell you the affordability crisis, like that fire was burning before he took office, and he has poured fuel on that fire. It existed before him. And that's part of what allowed him to be elected again. And so when we talk about how do we unpack it, I think one of the areas we have to do a better job is reining in these monopoly utility companies who continue to fail to invest in their own systems that will enable them to provide reliable and quality service to their customers, right? And instead have been focused on raking in record-breaking profits, giving their shareholders dividends, screwing over the rate holders. And so that is where here in this district alone, we are seeing providers seeking double-digit rate increases at a time where you already have 1.2 million New Yorkers behind on their energy bills. And so rating that in, ensuring there is accountability. Where I come from as a leader, if your organization is failing, you get fired, not tens of millions of dollars in executive compensation packages. So that needs to change. The second part is, yes, stopping these illegal foreign tariffs that have jacked up the prices on everything when everything was already more expensive. So stopping the pain that Trump has caused and cowards in Congress have allowed him to do. But then we've got to actually create new solutions, Brandon, to help families, to help people. You know, for the first time in modern American history, the economic prospects of young Americans are worse than our parents or grandparents. The average age of a first-time homebuyer is now 40, right? When it was in the 20s when our parents were growing up. And so this is where our country is not on the right path, and we have to get it back on the right path. And that is where I do believe we need disruptive solutions to solve this. On the housing crisis, one of the biggest things I'm pushing for is a public service loan program, where after a decade in service as a nurse, a teacher, a first responder, you qualify for the same benefits that I, as a veteran, did with the VA loan program. No one's giving you a handout. It just means that the federal government backs your mortgage to the point where a private lender will give you a competitive rate without putting 20% down and without paying PMI. That's a game changer for working class people who are like, I'm never going to have 20% to put down on a house, you know? So it's things like that that I believe we could really be doing to make a difference on people's everyday lives. It's things like investing in trade programs. In BOCES right here in New York is a vocational tech program in high school and adult education that we offer for technical trade schools. Like, we need to be doubling down on that. And other ways to incentivize people to pursue these types of careers that are going to be so essential going forward, but making sure that they're earning a wage where they can live in the communities they serve.